Hi guys, it's Jodie and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be doing a book haul, and I haven't done a book haul for a few months and I know you guys love these videos, and as you can see by the title of the video, we have a lot of books to get through. So yes, there is over 100 books behind me to talk to you guys about, and as always I am going to give a little disclaimer and some backstory because I know people see the title of this video and straight away they are angry. I have no idea why, but apparently it does bother some people. So most of these books, now I would say around half, I have been sent by publishers, gifted, or I've bought secondhand from charity shops, or I've received in monthly subscription boxes. So pretty much a lot of these have come from those sorts of things. I haven't necessarily bought them. So for those of you who also aren't aware, I am a bookseller, so I am very lucky in the fact that I get sent a lot of stuff by publishers, and I also get extremely good discount. So although this might look bad, with my discount it's really not that bad. It's also not your business, it's my business, what I spend my money on, and I'm happy to support the publishing industry, to buy books, support bookstores, and to collect them as well. So yes, I am a book collector as well as a book reader, so bear in mind my entire existence does revolve around books, being a bookseller, a booktuber, and just a general book collector and lover. So yes, please bear that in mind. Please don't worry about how much this has cost me or any of that. If you do not like book hauls, you don't like the fact I have this many books, just don't watch the rest of the video. Save yourself the trouble. Go and do something nice and fun with your day. For those of you who do like book hauls, I want to see all of the books that I have recently gotten. And when I say recently, I do mean in the past several months. I have not accumulated these very recently. It has been over a few months. Then please keep watching this video, but I'm going to get straight into it. So I have sort of organised these into piles of things I've been sent and so on. So I guess we will start with this pile, which is some manga, graphic novels, and books I have bought from charity stores or secondhand. So let's get into it with those. So we'll start with some manga and a graphic novel. Now please bear in mind I have accumulated a lot of manga this year and I'm not putting it all in this haul. So this has a lot of books in, but so there are some books that I just haven't included. So I bought the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayers volumes, so I've not included those, but those like have been hauled in the past few months. But these are the ones that I'm going to talk about anyway. So I have Ohara Ride volume 10. I've been trying to track this down for so long. It was the last volume I needed to complete my collection and to be able to binge read the series. I've read the first volume and I fell in love with it. It was so warm and cozy and lovely. I would highly recommend it if you like romance manga. So yeah, I finally got volume 10 thanks to a lovely subscriber who let me know in the comments of my videos it finally come back in stock. So I picked this up so fast and I'm so happy and cannot wait to binge this series. Then next we have the collection of Love in Focus. So this is a manga series and I decided to just get it in one bound collection rather than individually. This says on the back, a sweet and charming romance about a girl finding her way from the creator of That Wolf Boy Is Mine. So yeah, this is another kind of romance, fun, light-hearted manga, and very excited to read this. I've had very good things, and this is quite a big volume, but I like reading them all in like one volume like this. I much prefer it to individual volumes. So I did finally get this and I cannot wait to read it. Then I finally got my hands on book 2 and 3 of the black editions of Death Note. I read the first one, which included volume 1 and 2 back in 2020 I believe, and I really enjoyed it. And I haven't been able to continue with this series because these were out of print for the longest time. I have not been able to get them for 2 years, and they finally came back in stock and I snapped them up. So I have volumes 3 and 4 in book 2 and volumes 5 and 6 in book 3, and I cannot wait to read these. I will be rereading volume 1 and 2 and then reading these, but I'm so happy that I finally got these. Then I have The Girl from the Sea, and this is by Molly Knox Osterchak, I think is how you pronounce the surname. I bought this when I was in London for YALC. I also got my friend Tasman this as well, so hopefully we can maybe do a buddy read if she hasn't already read this. But this is a super cute, I think, sapphic graphic novel, and I've just heard so many good things. My friends actually recommended this to me a while ago and I couldn't get it in any bookstores, and then I saw it in stock when we were down in London and I just had to get it. I love graphic novels and I love ones with this kind of gorgeous art style and colour palette. I just really like them, so I'm very excited to give this a read. It's like a summary one as well, and yeah, it just looks really cute. So moving on to charity shop slash second-hand editions, I have some here. So I randomly picked up this copy of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This was like £1 in a charity shop, and I have not read this. I'm not a classics girly, but I want to try out some classics, and this one is a very accessible classic. I'm told it's one of the best ones to read for beginners, so I am planning to read this during the autumn winter months. I do own the Penguin Classics clothbound edition of it, but I don't want to annotate that one, and I would like to annotate this, so that's why I decided to pick this up from the charity shop. And I'm very excited to read this. I'm not going to go into what it's about because I feel like most people are aware of this book, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to reading it and to seeing if I can maybe start to get into classics. Then I have this book that I literally bought yesterday and very randomly. This is the Virago Book of Ghost Stories, and this is edited by Richard Dalby, and I just had to have this because 1, it is almost spooky season, 2, it's ghost story. Then we have Vampires, 2 Centuries of Great Vampire Stories, edited by Alan Ryan. So I bought this secondhand via Amazon, and I absolutely adore this cover. So this is literally, as it says, it's a collection of lots of different vampire tales since the kind of dawn of the Dracula story, and I'm very excited to read this. A booktube that I really like here on Booktube called Katie's Reading showed this in a video of hers, and I was like, wow, I really want to get that. It looks so interesting. I love anything to do with vampires, so I had to get my hands on this, and this wasn't too expensive either because it is second hand. And yeah, I'm looking forward to flicking through this. I'm planning to read Dracula soon, so as soon as I finish Dracula I would like to flick through some of the stories here and see how maybe some of those were inspired by Dracula. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one. Then next we have The Folktales of Scotland, and this is by Nora and William Montgomery, and this is a gorgeous little hardback. I got this in an Oxfam charity shop for £2, and I'm really happy that I picked it up because I do need to read more into Scottish mythology and lore and history, because my mum and half of my family are Scottish, and there's lots of Scottish heritage there that I just want to know more about. I feel like it would be more fun for me to read the Scottish stuff rather than just like general like British mythology. I actually don't know a lot of Scottish myths or legends. My mum has told me the odd one, but I would like to read more, so I thought this would be a really good to do that, and I think I'm going to let my mum read this as well. I feel like she would really like this, so yeah, this was like such a bargain and I just couldn't not get it. Then lastly we have Stephen King's The Institute. This is in hardback, and I'm planning to try and read some Stephen King hopefully towards the end of this year. I have read Carrie and the Dark Tower by Stephen King, but nothing else. So this one I did have my eye on. I was planning to take it off the library, but then I saw this for £2 in a charity shop, and I was like, well, I may as well just grab this. And all I know about this is that it's quite eerie. It's got Stranger Things vibes, conspiracy theory vibes, and that's pretty much it. And I'm not going to search any more into what this is about, because I feel like with Stephen King's books, they just literally go like in so many random directions, and I feel like it's fun to go into them kind of not knowing too much, and that's definitely what I plan to do with this one. So I'm hoping to pick this up maybe in the autumn, because I just feel like it'll be quite spooky, and I've heard very good things about this one, so I cannot wait to read it. In fact, I had this in my arms when I was getting the train home that day, and a guy actually came up to me and said, oh my god, that book is really good, have you started it yet? And I said I hadn't, and they basically said it was one of the best books they'd read, so I'm very excited to read it. Okay, so moving on to books I have purchased myself. I do have quite a few to get through. Again, I've bought these over several months, so let's just go through them quickly. Some of these you may have seen in other videos, but yeah, I'm going to quickly go through them. So we have Nikita Gill's Great Goddesses, and this is Life Lessons and Myths and Monsters, and I had to get this. I got this when I was at Yelk, and I met Nikita Gill, and she very kindly signed this and all of my other Nikita Gill books for me. I love Nikita Gill's poetry, and I'm just super excited to read this one, and this is a beautiful book. Then next we have Extasia by Claire Legrand, and this one, I'm not gonna lie, I was instantly intrigued by the cover. I got this at Yelk, and this is a witchy story, and it just sounds really good. I got this along with my friend Emily, so I'm hoping that we will be reading this together maybe sometime in autumn. But it says here that this is an emotionally searing and lyrically written novel that beckons readers to follow its powerful heroine into a world filled with secrets and blood, where the truth is buried in lies and a devastating power waits seething for someone brave enough to use it. So yes, I love the sound of this. It instantly reminded me of the Witch movie, which I adore, and I am just very excited to read this. Anything to do with witches, I have to own it. Then we have This May End Badly by Samantha Markham, and honestly I don't know too much about this. I just know it's set in like a boarding school, there's a bit of romance, and I only got this because when I was at Yelk, two of my friends I was with were getting books, and you had to get 3 hardbacks to get it like really cheap, so I said I'd just get this one so they could get the deal. But this says it's a story about friendship, falling in love, and crossing pretty much every line presented to you, and how to atone when you do. So I just thought it sounded really cool. It's kind of like a contemporary novel with like other elements woven into it, and I think there's like a fake dating trope in here as well, and I just thought it sounded interesting. I like the boarding school like setting. I thought that'd be fun to read about, so yeah, I picked this one up at Yelp. Then we have one of my most anticipated releases of the year, one I cannot wait to read. I will be reading this in October, and this is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Earnshaw. I'm excited for this for two reasons. One, I adore Shea Earnshaw's writing. She is just a beautiful writer. And two, I friggin' love anything like Nightmare Before Christmas or Tim Burton. Sally, like, just look at her. I'm just so excited. So yeah, this is a retelling of Jack and Sally's story by Shea Earnshaw, and yeah, for the Tim Burton fans out there, you definitely need to get your hands on this. I cannot wait to read this, and I'm just very excited. It's the perfect book obviously for spooky season, so yeah, I'll be picking this up very soon. Then next we have another highly anticipated release, which is a book I will be reading actually next month with my patrons, and I'm so excited because this is going to be the perfect book for transitioning from summer to autumn, and that is Wild is the Witch. Book Depository messed up and it doesn't, so it's fine. I'm honestly not too bothered. I'll probably track one down eventually. Then we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and this is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've never read anything by this author, and I decided to get this just because it is so stunning. Like, look at this cover, and a lot of my friends like this, and obviously the whole entire book community seems to like this, and I just feel like I do need to read it at some point, so I couldn't pass up this hardback, and it is very gorgeous. I don't know a ton about it, but I think I'm going to keep it that way and just be surprised by where the story takes me. But yeah, this has been recommended to me so many times now, so I honestly don't know if I'll like it or not, but yeah, like, this is a gorgeous hardback to have, and I am going to read it to see what all the hype is about eventually. So next we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a rom-com, and I've heard nothing but good things about this. I'm so excited to read it. And basically, I think in this, we have this girl, and she has a next door neighbour, and I think her next door neighbour helps her to try and like make this other guy her boyfriend, but then she falls for him. It's like a movie I've watched before, but I can't remember what the movie is, but that's kind of like what the whole vibe of this is. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good things. I love a good rom-com, and I just think I'm gonna absolutely adore this. Then next we have Go Hex Yourself, which is again another kind of rom-com, but this is witchy. I did very briefly start this, and essentially this is about this girl who gets a job working for witches. She doesn't realise at first that that's what the job was for, and she also doesn't realise that she is in fact a witch, and I guess she discovers this. We have this kind of nephew of her boss who's very moody and grumpy and kind of mean, and I guess they end up having to work together to break some kind of curse or something, and they fall in love. So you cannot go wrong with that. I love The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, and apparently this has got like similar vibes, so I'm very excited to read this, and this is a stunning floppy paperback as well, so that is another bonus to this. Very excited for this. I cannot wait to read it. Then next we have By Any Other Name by Lauren Kate. I actually ordered this into work to buy months ago and then decided not to get it. Then I saw a TikTok where someone talked about this book, and then I was like, oh my god, okay, no, I need to get that book. And it's basically about this girl, I think, who kind of helps this guy to edit like his book or write his book or something, and then they fall in love with each other. It's basically about writers or book lovers, one of the two. Anything like that with romance in, I have to have, and it's also set in New York City, so that's the only reason I bought this, and I cannot wait. I hope that TikTok recommendation was worth it and that I do actually like it. I decided to give it a second chance, and yeah, I think I will like this. It says in the back, one summer to write the biggest love story of the year, but will it be theirs? So yes. Then next we have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I did read this. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was a fun book. Read the second book and hated it, so I haven't continued with the series. But yeah, this is just like a fun summer read. I don't think I really need to go into what this is about. If you're looking for a summer book set on a beach with a sort of love triangle and lots of other things, then this book is probably for you. I just thought it was fun, but the main character really annoyed me at times, so yeah. As it examines the nature of identity, creativity, disability, failure and redemptive possibilities in play, and above all our need to connect, to be loved and to love. So I just thought that sounded fascinating, and I think it will be a really fun read. Then next we have The Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, and I'm so excited for this book. This is basically a cozy witchy story, and that is just my whole thing. Like, any books that are like that I want to read. I cannot wait to read this. It just sounds amazing. On the back it says live-in tutor wanted for 3 young witches and must have nerves of steel, previous teaching experience not necessarily, witchiness essential. Think this has romance, and yeah, it's just like a cozy story with witches in, and I just think it sounds so fun. Anything with witches I will read. I adore this cover as well, it's so gorgeous. So very, very excited for this one. Then we have the Waterstones exclusive edition of Holly Black's Book of Night. I've tried to read this book and it was so incredibly boring, but I did DNF it. I'm going to come back to it sometime, but even the audiobook could not save me. I was just so bored. The characters are so dull and unlikable. The world building makes no sense. This book's a no for me, and I own 3 copies because I received 2 in book boxes, which you'll see later in this video. But yeah, I did pre-order this and it is a gorgeous edition. Hopefully in the future when I reread this and try to give it a chance, I will like it, but as of right now I do not. So next we have the Raven Kennedy books of Gilded Glint and Gleam, and yeah, I am actually going to be returning these because Waterstones have brought out signed editions of these soon and I pre-ordered them, so once those come out I'm going to exchange them for the signed editions because I haven't read these yet. Also know about this, it's a fantasy romance series. Apparently it's amazing, so I'm very, very excited to give this a read and to get the signed editions. I have got a copy of Glow that is signed at work as well. But yeah, very, very excited for this, and I feel like I don't need to say any more because everyone is aware of this series at this point. Then next we have Once Upon a Capron by Kat Cho. I have 2 copies of this because I pre-ordered this at work and then I stupidly annotated this a little bit, and I wish I hadn't because I would have just returned this copy and kept this one. I ordered from Books and Wonder, I think the website was called. It's from the US. I ordered this because Kat Cho actually personalised it and signed it, which I thought was cool, and it came with the pre-order benefits as well. And then I just put the dust jacket inside out so it looks like this, which I thought looked cool. So yeah, I have 2 copies of this book now. I have read it and I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars. It just wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be, but I did still really enjoy it. Then next we have From Little Tokyo with Love, and I absolutely adore this book cover. I don't actually know a lot about this. I bought this on a recommendation from someone, and I believe it's kind of like a romantic contemporary but also has a lot of important themes in it as well, so I'm excited to give this a read. I haven't heard too much about it in the book community, so I will be really interested to see if I like it. But yeah, I feel like this will be a really, really fun read. Okay, I had to take a break to have some food and it was too hot, so I'm back to continue with the haul. And everything that's behind me now has either been in a book box or I was sent. So yes, we're halfway through pretty much, and I'm excited to show you the rest of the book. Okay, so firstly I'll show you the Illumicrate books. Now I have got other ones but I just can't remember what they were, so yeah, there are other books that I've received but they're just not in this haul because I can't remember what they were. But the first one we have is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This is the Illumicrate exclusive edition, and I pre-ordered this because I did also have the Love Hypothesis one. I've read this book, I loved it. This one I think has a digital signature inside, but I'm not too bothered about that because I was very kindly sent a hardback proof of this book that was personalised and signed to me, so I'm fine. And it does have this art underneath which is really, really cute as well. So yes, I have this book here, which I'm very happy that I have in my collection. Then we have the Illumicrate exclusive edition of A Book of Night by Holly Black. So this one has these end pages inside, and then it is signed digitally, I believe, with a letter from the author. But under the dust jacket is really, really pretty. It has this gorgeous design on it with quotes on the back as well. So I'm quite bitter of the fact that this has such a beautiful design but the book does not match. It is not a good or beautiful book in my opinion, but yes, this is the Illumicrate exclusive edition. Oh, and it also has black sprayed edges. Then we have The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. I think I've uploaded an unboxing video for this one, so I will link that up here if you want to go and watch it, and I talk about what the book's about there. All I remember from this is that it's inspired by Welsh mythology and folklore, which I thought was really, really cool. I haven't read many books that have that, and it's like a dark fairy tale, but it's a beautiful edition. It has really pretty sprayed edges. It is also signed by the author, and then under the dust jacket looks like this, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then we had stunning character art as well, so I really, really love this edition, and I'm very, very excited to give this book a read soon. And then lastly we have the most recent Illumicrate book, which is Fable by R.F. Kuang. Look how gorgeous this is. It comes in a slipcase, which is just gorgeous, and then this is the book. It's so pretty. Look at this. This is what it looks like, if you guys can see. Sorry about the ring light, but the sprayed edges on this book, some of the best sprayed edges I've ever seen in my life. And then we also have this gorgeous end pages as well. And then look at this. So this is signed inside, but like look at the attention to detail. Like look at this little stamp that says it's an Illumicrate edition. I like just the way this is laid out as well. It's just such a gorgeous edition of this book, and I'm so lucky and happy that I own this in their box. It has the most beautiful sprayed edges and this gold detailing all over the book, which is just beautiful, and it is signed by both authors inside as well. So yeah, this was like a little freebie we got in a box, and I just think it's a gorgeous edition. Then we have The Darkening by Sonia Mara, and this is a beautiful edition of this book as well. This is a fantasy, I believe. Can't remember much else about it, but I did do an unboxing for this on my channel, so you can head to my unboxings playlist if you want to find it. But it is signed, and then underneath it has this design on it, but no character art under the dust jacket. But it does have these cool end pages as well, and some cool sprayed edges. I don't know how long this battery is going to last, so I'm going to have to be super quick. We have This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed, and this is a beautiful edition. So this one is yellow. It has the yellow sprayed edges. It has gorgeous end pages inside, and it is also signed by the author. And then we have this beautiful art under the dust jacket, which is amazing. So again, you can head to my Foley unboxings to hear more about this book, but it's basically a romantic kind of fantasy story. I think there's like demons or something in here, and yeah, it just sounds really cool. So next we have the Shatter Me trilogy, the original 3 books. These are the Foley exclusive editions. So this is the first one. Obviously I've rotated the dust jacket round, but it does have the original on this side, and they are metallic like that, but I've just put them in this way around. And underneath it says My Touch is Power on it, which is really cool. Each of them is also signed as well. And then we have these really cool sprayed edges. Then we obviously have Ignite Me. Again, I've just reversed the dust jacket. We have these sprayed edges. It's signed, and this is what this one looks like underneath. It has a quote on it here, and again the metallic-y design. Then we have Unravel Me, which looks like this. It has this design, and then underneath this one it has this quote and this design, and then this was the original dust jacket. So yeah, these are such pretty sprayed edges. I wasn't even sure if I was going to get these, so I'm so glad that I did, and they are really beautiful. Then next we have A Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, and this one is perfect for fans of the Folk of the Air trilogy and Serpent and Dove. It's a fantasy romance. It has a morally grey witch, a cursed prince, and lots of other things. So yes, look how gorgeous the end pages are as well. And then under the dust jacket it has like art printed onto it, and it is signed as well, and has these kind of ombre sprayed edges. So I love this edition, and I'm very excited for this book. It sounds like my cup of tea. Then we have the fairly exclusive edition of Book of Night by Holly Black. It is signed. It has really cool end pages, and underneath it has this really cool moon design, and then has all this like quotes and stuff on the back. I'm going to talk about this book anymore because I've showed it twice already in this video. And next we have Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, which is beautiful, and it has these most amazing sprayed edges. I love these edges. I think it's so cool. So this is signed, and underneath it has this really cool design, which I really like. Then we have The Stardust Thief, which has purple sprayed edges and is signed as well. Has really cool end pages. There's the author's signature. And then we have this beautiful foiling on the naked book and a quote on the back as well, which I just think is gorgeous. I love purple and gold together. And the last Fairly book is The City of Dusk, which looks like this. It has a black sprayed edge and is also signed inside. It has really cool sprayed edges, and underneath it looks like this. It has gold detailing on it, which is very gorgeous. Before I get into the books I was very kindly sent by publishers, I forgot to mention these books that I have bought myself. So I have this book here, which I bought in London, which is in Praise of Shadows, and this is a book that's kind of a few different genres. It's like fiction, poetry and philosophy and a few other things mixed in one. It has like mixed media in it, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I believe this is translated from Japanese, and I'm very excited to read it because it is a classic, and I just think it will be a really interesting read, so I'm excited to read that. Then I also have these books here, which is Heaven and All the Lovers in the Night, and I bought these because someone I follow on Bookstagram recommended them for a book prize this year, so I'm looking forward to reading both both of these. I don't know much about them, but I definitely trust their recommendation, and I have heard very good things about both of these. Then I also have Only on the Weekends, and this is by Dean Atta, and this is a signed copy. I bought this after meeting Dean Atta at Yelk, and I have read The Black Flamingo. It was one of my favourite reads of last year, so of course had to get this, and I'm very excited to read it. This is written in verse, and if you haven't read The Black Flamingo, I highly recommend it. It is an amazing book, but I'm very excited for this one. Then we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I bought this because I would like to read this during spooky season, and this apparently has a lot of like retro nostalgic vibes and like really strong themes of friendship, and it just sounds really fun, so I'm very excited to read this, and I absolutely adore this book cover as well. Then we have Autumn's Teeth by Hannah Parker. This is a book that's supposed to be perfect for fans of anyone who likes fae stuff. I think it's fantasy romance and for fans of like The Cruel Prince. So yeah, I think there's romance and like lots of like politics and things like that in here. I can't remember when or why exactly I bought this, but I have looked into it a little bit, and it seems to be like a really good book that's maybe a little bit underrated, so I'm very excited to give this a read. I love anything with fae in, so I will definitely enjoy this one, and yeah, I'm excited to see what it's all about. Okay, so now the two stacks of books behind me are books I've been sent by publishers, so I'm very lucky to have received them. I'm very excited to share them all with you guys. So these are mostly ARCs, and a lot of these have already come out while I'm filming this video, but I thought I'd include them. One that I haven't got to hand with me is Babel. I did receive an ARC of that, but it's in a different room, and it is already out, and I've shown the Illumicrate edition, so I didn't think there's any point in showing the ARC of that, but yes, I'm very happy that I have that in my possession. I will just quickly show these books here. So I was very kindly sent the entire collection that Penguin have recently released of their Penguin Clothbound Classic mini editions. So they're all kind of mixed up and like not in the right order, but I'm super quick going to show these. So I have, I'm not even going to say the title, I'm literally just going to show you. So I've got this one here, we've got this one, got this one, this one, this one, this one because of the light, this one which is my favourite, it's so beautiful and autumnal. Then we have this Jane Austen one, we have this one, and then lastly we have this one. So yes, this is the entire collection. I'm very lucky to have been sent this, and I adore these. These are so gorgeous, and I plan to read some of these soon. I'm very excited for a couple of these, especially this Jane Austen one as well. So yeah, these are so beautiful. I absolutely love them, so thank you so much to Penguin for gifting me with a set. Okay, I just realised I do actually in fact have another stack of books that I bought myself that I forgot to show. So this one is Booked on a Feeling by JC Lee. This is a kind of a book lovers, bookworm kind of a romance. It's like a rom-com, and it just sounds really good. Yeah, if it has books and it has romance, I'm gonna buy it, so I'm very excited for that one. Then we have these Shallow Graves, and this one sounds amazing. This one has like murder in it. It has like Victorian, like a gothic time period in it, and it sounds exactly like Stalking Jack the Ripper to me. It's giving those vibes, and I absolutely adore that series, so I had to buy this one, and I'm very excited to read it this autumn. It says, a wealthy family, a deadly secret, a girl with more to lose than she knows. So I also believe there is a romance in here as well, and it just sounds so good. I am so excited. Then we have this Nikita Gill poetry collection, which is signed by the author, and that is These Are the Words, and I do believe this is her most recent poetry collection. Then we have A Beast of Prey, which I got signed at Yelk, so very cool. The author was so nice, and I loved their panel as well. Their panel was so interesting, so I'm very excited to read this one. After hearing the author talk about it, I just had to pick this up, and I cannot wait to read it. Then we have Every Summer After, and this is by Carly Fortune. I gave into the hype with this one. I believe it's kind of similar to the Jenny Han book. I can't remember what it's called. I literally just spoke about it not long ago, but you know what I mean. This is like a romance. I think it's like a second chance and friends to lovers kind of romance as well, and it's like a summer theme. So yeah, I have heard that this is a very good book. And then another one I succumbed to the hype over is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman, and this one says 10 years later and she still has butterflies, but does he feel the same way? So this again is kind of like another romancy kind of story, and yeah, apparently this one is also very good, so I picked this one up. Okay, and then lastly I do have this one here, which I received in a Illumicrate box, which I forgot about, which is the Illumicrate exclusive edition of Laurel of Olympus Volume 2. It has this cover design, and it's very gorgeous with these sprayed edges. I did read this recently, and I really enjoyed it, and it is a collection of all of her artwork with also some information. So some of you might recognise the art style or will have seen this in some of my vlogs, but I absolutely adore this. This book is so beautiful, and just thank you so much, Caitlin, for gifting me this. I'm so happy that I own this because I love this artist so much. Then I was also very kindly gifted both of these books by the lovely Catherine. She got me this one, which is Zodiac Academy, The Awakening as Told by the Boys. So this is literally the first Zodiac Academy novel, but from the boys' perspective. So I am excited to read this one because I really do love the Zodiac Academy series. I haven't finished it yet, but from what I've read so far, I adored it. And I'm so interested to see everything from the boys' perspective. I would recommend this series if you like kind of bully romance and reverse harem, then it will probably be for you. And then she also got me this book to try, which is Marianne Keyes' Sushi for Beginners. I've never read anything by this author, so I'm interested to see how I feel about it. Yes, thank you so much, Catherine, for these gorgeous books. Then I randomly have this that I got from work because it was being chucked out for water damage, and yeah, I thought, oh well, I'll have that. So I decided to take this one, which is A Witch's Bible, The Complete Witch's Handbook. This was a book that I would obsess over when I was a bit younger. I always used to go in and like just stare at this book and look through it, and I thought it was really, really cool. It had a different cover, I think, when I used to look at it. I'm pretty sure this was published in the 80s, but I just think it's really, really cool. It has all like different things to do with witches and stuff. So yeah, I have this one. Then the lovely Amy sent me her proof of her second book, which is the follow-up to Mina and the Undead. So this is Mina and the Slayers by Amy McCall. For those of you who maybe haven't been here for the last year or so, I read the first book, Mina and the Undead, I think last year, and I absolutely adored it. I recommend it all the time to customers, and I love this book. So basically, in the first book, we follow Mina, and she goes to New Orleans to visit her sister. There's a bunch of murders, there's vampires. It's got lots of nostalgia. If you like The Lost Boys, Stranger Things, Buffy the Vampire, you will love these books. I cannot recommend them enough, and this is the second one, and I'm so excited to read this and continue as well for me. But I have been saving this until like September, October to read during its more spooky like season, but I do believe it actually comes out next month. It comes out on the 1st of September, so make sure you pre-order it if you haven't already. And if you haven't read Mina and the Undead, now is the perfect time to read it during spooky season. Then next we have Soulmates by Suzanne Lee. I recently read this and really enjoyed it. This is perfect if you love K-dramas and K-pop. Honestly, go and read this. It does also tackle some real star and this girl from his childhood and them kind of meeting again several years later. And so this is a retelling of Helen of Troy, Achilles and Patroclus. So very excited to read this one. Then I was sent this one, which is a manga. This is my first ever manga proof, which is really cool. So this is called Apple Black, and yeah, it looks really, really fun, really, really cool. It says in the back, raised to be the world's savior, young sorcerer Sano ventures out to train with other talented magic users just as evil emerges against a threat in the world. So it sounds really, really interesting. Very excited about this one. It's kind of like a sort of thriller. It's between a couple and they're trying to figure out who had something to do with this, like, I think it was an accident they thought first happened, and then they're kind of like suspecting each other. So it sounds really, really interesting, and I'm very excited to read this one. Then I was very kindly sent Daughter of Darkness by Catherine and Elizabeth Kaur, and this one sounds really cool. It's set in the underworld, I believe, as well, and it's a fantasy inspired by Greek mythology, and like I said, I love Greek mythology, so this one sounds really, really fun. Then we have a proof of the next Scarlet St. Clair, which is When Stars Come Out. I'm very, very excited for this one because I've enjoyed some of Scarlet St. Clair's other books, so this one I cannot wait to read. Sorry I'm not giving the best synopsis of these books. I'm trying to go super quick because this video is long. I'm really warm and my camera's gonna die, so I will have all that comes out in October this year. And this sounds so cool. It says on the back, it's inspired by the story of Elizabeth Bathory, the infamous blood countess who terrorized late 16th century Hungary. This is a compelling gothic tale of power, blood, taboo and the darkest of desires by the acclaimed author of The Year of the Witching. So this sounds so good. I love a gothic story. Rise, I think it was. And yeah, very, very excited to read this. It says on the bottom here, set over one sweltering week in July and culminating in a bizarre act of violence that finally changes everything. The rabbit hole of loneliness and longing, entrapment and ultimately freedom. Okay, we're getting to the last stack. So next we have this proof of this graphic novel, which is called Crumbs, and this is by Dane Sterling. I am sure it was originally a webtoon, and it looks so freaking cute. I'm gonna be a Rutherford, and this one sounds so cool. I love forbidden romance, and this proof is absolutely beautiful. Then next we have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and this one sounds so good. It sounds so different to her other books. This comes out in May 2023. I think this is contemporary fiction, I believe, but I can't remember. I may be wrong. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this once I've finished reading Babel to see like how the author writes this book, but I've seen a lot of good reviews for this so far. So my camera decided to die on me again, so here we are for hopefully the last time trying to film this haul. So I have the final stack of ARCs here to show you, so I'm gonna quickly go through these. So I have Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This is a sapphic fantasy and it's inspired by the fate of Penelope's 12 handmaids from Homer's Odyssey. So yes, look how gorgeous this is. And it sounds so freaking good. This comes out on the 16th of March next year between the author and her therapist. I'm very, very excited to read this one. I've been waiting for this to be translated into English and I think it's going to be a really, really good read. So I'm very, very glad that the publisher sent me this copy. Then next we have this gorgeous proof here. So this is the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess and this one is Heart of the Sun Warrior. This is by Su Lin Tan and this is a gorgeous floppy proof. It's got romance in it. It's a fantasy. What's not to love? This one comes out in November 2022, I believe. Then we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is a gothic story. It comes out on the 30th of August, but I'm pretty sure it is like available early. So it says it's a highly romantic, gothic infused world of work. Then we have Chloe Gong's Foul Lady Fortune, which is just like one of the most beautiful proofs I've ever seen in my entire life. This one comes out on the 27th of September. Then we have Ordinary Monsters. So this one is actually already out. This is by J.M. Marrow and yeah, this is already out. Look at this. This is a chunky one. But yeah, sadly I didn't get to this. I think I got sent this just after the release or just before, but I've heard really, really good things about this and I would like to get to it quite soon, but it is a big one so it will take me some time to get through. Then we have Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. I'm very excited for this one. I just haven't had a chance to read it. I think it comes out around about now or the end of this month. Then we have Maya Dean Wrath Goddess Sing. So this one is beautiful and it says here, drawing on ancient texts and modern archaeology to reveal a trans woman's story hidden underneath the well-known myths of the Iliad, Maya Dean's Wrath Goddess Sing weaves a compelling pitiful. Very excited about this one. This one I think came out in June this year. And then lastly we have The Darkening, which I already showed earlier. I received the Fairy edition, so this one is already out. But yes, that is everything for this book haul. Super long, I know. I'm so sorry this video is really long, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. And like I said, I will have all of them. Couldn't possibly talk about every single book because there are too many and this video will be hours long, so I hope you guys don't mind. You have read, what your thoughts were, what your ratings were. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Let me know and let's talk about it down below. Also let me know if you're planning to read any of these or who you have now discovered any of these books from this video. I would also love to know that. And if you did make it this far, leave a book emoji in the comments and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. All of these books will be linked down below along with the links to my social medias, and you can also find the link to my Patreon where you will find extra content from me such as reading vlogs, a monthly buddy read, a monthly readathon. We have a Discord where we chat. I do live shows there and upload photos and lots of other things. There's lots of autumnal content planned to go up there as well over the next month or so, and you will find reading vlogs for some of the books I have mentioned during this video. So yes, that will be linked down below. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're reading lots of good books and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!